Syria and Belarus, seemingly unconnected, have become sites of intensified violence and egregious human rights violations, and there are links between them to Ukraine. In Syria, rebel forces have launched their most significant offensive since 2016, precisely because of the example of Ukraine's drone technology, while in Belarus, investigations have unveiled a Russian camp that seems to be used for torturing Ukrainian captives. These stories underscore the ongoing cost of the global crisis and the human suffering this sort of spreads like a disease. The resurgence of the Syrian opposition rebels led by Hayat Tahrir al-Sham marks a dramatic shift in the Syrian civil war. And in the last few days, rebels have taken the majority of Aleppo, and Hayat Tahrir al-Sham and allied factions now control significant areas, including government centres and prisons. And after an 8-year hiatus, Russian warplanes bombarded Aleppo, killing 27 civilians and dozens of fighters, and government forces, following safe withdrawal orders, have retreated, closing Aleppo's airports and access roads. And the rebel offensive comes in the middle of the fragile Lebanon ceasefire, further complicating and eroding the security of the region, risking further regional instability. And over 300 lives have been lost in the fighting, and thousands more displaced by airstrikes and the intensification of shelling. In Belarus, an investigation led by the Belarussian Investigative Center uncovered a Russian filtration camp in Narolya, and civilians and prisoners of war, including children, were interrogated, beaten, and subjected to forced displacement. Eyewitnesses corroborate the presence of Russian forces on a collective farm where constant screams apparently are heard, and lawyers cite breaches of the Fourth Geneva Convention, with forced displacement classified as an international crime. And of course, that is what Putin has been charged with by the ICC, the forced displacement of children. Belarus has faced international scrutiny for aiding Russian operations, and the Supreme Court's designation of the BIC as an extremist organization further highlights its suppression of dissent. While Syria's conflict embodies the chaotic aftermath of civil war and foreign intervention, Belarus reflects the darker machinations of global skullduggery. Common threads include the weaponization of human suffering, whether through drone strikes in Aleppo or torture in Narolya. Civilians bear the brunt of state and non-state actors' ambitions, and both crises reveal a global reluctance to act decisively, even as international laws are flagrantly violated. The rebel advance in Aleppo and the discovery of the Belarusian camp remind us that the price of conflict is invariably human, and addressing these issues requires more than condemnation. It demands decisive action to enforce international norms, hold perpetrators accountable, prioritize the protection of civilians, and only then can there be any hope to stem the tide of atrocity.